you and I know that in the future that is going to improve, and that won't always be the case. And we see a huge appreciation. That property could be worth $1 million, and we're going to keep that. But that's going to be a long-term hold. So I'm super excited about that. Are you?
Yes, sir, man. That's a big one. The Oceanfront. What's up, deal makers? We just finished Ask Alex number 64. Crazy to think we've been doing it this many weeks, but man, we are just giving away the game week in and week out. Man, this is actually our favorite week because instead of giving out the game, we're talking game and we're talking with other investors. Alex, what were your biggest takeaways from the open table today?
So a couple of nuances that we discovered by talking to the tribe and having these open conversations. One is whether you should represent yourself as an agent, if you're trying to buy an investment deal or not, if you're a licensed agent, right? Another one was big. We had a deal maker in the group quit their full-time job and go work for other investors as a project manager. That's amazing. And she's so happy that she did it. And then also we talked a lot about just the mindset of a deal maker. Check it out. Aloha, what's up, my deal makers? Aloha from Guadalajara. We'll let everybody get filed in. Today, we're gonna be hanging out. We're gonna be hanging out together, spending some time, seeing what you guys are up to, see who has some wins, see who has some challenges. Let me bring on my co-host, my main man with the master plan, Mr. Will Wall, in the building. I wish I had such a cool name that people thought that it was a fake name. But what's up, everybody? I see some familiar faces. Hopefully we have some new people joining the group today. So as you guys might know, might not know, this is a virtual open house. So it's like if we were just at a networking event. So it's an open forum. You guys get to ask me questions. This is a chance to ask Will, myself, questions about the business, about deals, about pretty much anything about lifestyle design. I was with my work wife, Will, last week. I took him a nice Valentine's Day dinner in Scottsdale. How was that, honey? Everything good? Did you like it?
Man, that was a fun Valentine's Day. A little bit different than normal, but you know, we got some business done, and that's part of the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. Same time last week, you guys, we were in Phoenix checking out our 18-unit acquisition. We're excited about that deal, but it's also a much bigger deal. So it takes a lot of work and a lot of bandwidth from the team. So we've been seeing that over the last week, haven't we, Will?
Yeah, I mean, we were all over the place last week, you know, from Phoenix, LA. You were in LA for a little bit, got to see your house hack, then back down to Guadalajara. So, I mean, it really was an action-packed week of being an investor, but that's the kind of stuff that we're doing, right?
Yep, you got to cover some ground, you got to cover some territory, you have to analyze deals. That's sometimes in person, build relationships. So that way you can ask for referrals for certain contractors, certain vendors, certain things that you're doing in that market. So we're going to talk about all that today, but I'm excited to hang out with a bunch of deal makers today, see what everybody's up to and how we can help them grow into an even better deal maker.
Yes, sir. And I know people are trickling in right now as we get things going. Quick other update, Alex. I mean, I know, you know, you've got a lot of stuff going on, you know, outside of our business, but what else were you up to? You know, I know last week we were kind of out in Arizona looking at that 18 unit, but what else is going on?
Yeah, so after that 18 unit inspection, which was cool, Max Jimenez invited me to Steve Trang's workshop. If you guys are not familiar with him, we've had him on the webinar before. Go check it out. I don't remember which one it was, but it was in the last I'd say in the last 30 days. They're seasoned investors, also sales trainers, some of the best in the business. And we've grown a relationship with them. And so I got to hang out with Max at Steve's office, really cover some ground, build a deeper relationship together, see what everybody's up to, kind of on a higher level and very detailed. And so that was cool. Got to hang out. You didn't get the chance because you went over to LA, and I know you spent a valuable day with some of our money partners. So good for you on that. You know, I would have definitely been down to roll, but you know, I was still in Arizona. I had to extend my trip one day. And then what was kind of interesting, and I'll kind of bring this up because I like to share the struggles and the successes. And one of the struggles I noticed with Uber in the US, which I don't have the problem in Mexico, is that there's not that many drivers. You know, people are getting the stimulus money, and it's very expensive. If you talk about inflation, I see that every time I'm taking Ubers because I don't really like to drive. I'm more productive when I'm in my phone, on my phone, and somebody's driving. I don't have to worry about traffic or any of that. And so I know, dude, I almost missed my flight because, you know, it was like half an hour wait times and like $50 to go like just a few miles. It was crazy, dude. And I see that in LA as well, and other parts of the US. So not a fan of that, man. People down here in Mexico did not get stimulus, and they're working. And I could get around for like 4 days, 5 days with $50 that I just spent on one trip in Phoenix. But nonetheless, I digress. I'm back down here in Guadalajara, which I'm happy. But another struggle, Will, as I know you've been hearing me kind of vent and just complain like a little, you know what, was that my designer that was helping me, and she helped me with the other penthouse that I had. I upgraded to the 2-bedroom penthouse. I had the 1-bedroom, but then I wanted the bigger space to be able to host more. I really like the building. I'm happy. And she completely dropped the ball, bro. Like, I came here to like almost an empty apartment aside from the furniture I already had. And that was not what we had planned. I spent hours with her picking furniture, looking at quotes, doing all these things to get it done. And then she just completely dropped the ball and didn't order anything, was expecting me to order everything, pay for it when I got here, when I would have gladly sent the money before. So it was just a big lack of communication on her part. But guess what? I found the pieces myself for a less expensive price, and they're a lot bossier. They're a lot better than what she was sending me. So, you know, we saw problems, right, guys? So it's a good problem to have. I know it sounds like first world problems and whatnot, but it was frustrating because I'm trying to get the furniture, juggle the business, and still be able to, you know, live and have a good time here in Guadalajara while I'm down here, which it's been difficult. So doing that, I did get the chance to see some family. On Sundays, I saved that day for hanging out with my family because they work, I work. Even though I'm down here in Mexico, I don't get to see them during the week that often. And so I went out there and like saw 3 of my different aunts, like went to all 3 of their houses in one day. That was super fun and cool. Another thing I think we need to talk about is back to business is we just closed on 29 Palms today, right?
Yes, sir. Closed and recorded.
And who did we buy that deal from?
We bought that from one of our tribe members, Alan. You know, I mean, he's pretty vocal, comes out to all the meetups, you know, all the events that we host. And, you know, he had a deal that was right in our buy box, right in an area that we've been, you know, actively buying in you know, recently. And we were able to, you know, make a deal happen and take down a deal with somebody from the Dealmaker tribe.
Yep. I mean, some people are wholesaling, right? Some people are flipping. We connect with everybody, all of the above, to see how we can help each other and maybe do some deals. And Alan's been somebody that's been, like I said, very vocal, attends all of our stuff, is constantly following us and, you know, liking stuff on social media. But more than anything, the kid is, I mean, I say kid because he's much younger than me, is taking massive action, getting deals. And he got a deal that fit our criteria, and we bought it, closing on that today. Super happy to be able to do business. And I think that's like the 5th or 6th deal, if I'm not mistaken, we bought from hosting this webinar, talking to people. I think Mark Neagley made 15, 16 grand on a deal we did. So did Nick Mobley. He made north of 15. I think he made $17,000 on a deal we did with him. I think
yeah, Alan, a lot of folks in the group making some money, right?
Alan made close to 30 grand on that deal. We don't care about wholesale fees as long as it fits our buy box. And so, I mean, it's just great to do business with people that you know definitely feel like you'll be able to continue to do long-term business with, because we're playing the long game here. And that's why we do these free webinars, free events. I mean, we threw an event that 200 people came. I mean, that cost me thousands of dollars, but you know, it's in the pursuit of connecting with other deal makers. So happy about that. Another big thing I want to give you guys an update on: we're buying an oceanfront house in Hawaii for less than $500,000. I can't believe it. And it's on the island that I really wanted to do a deal on and be a little bit more on myself, because it just has more to do, Oahu. So we're going to be buying a property on the west side of Oahu, which is kind of really the last affordable part of Oahu. I mean, houses go there for $1 million easy. We're buying this property for $445,000 right on the water. You could walk across the street. Now, granted, it is a pretty rough area. You got homeless encampments, you got drug addicts, you know, littered across the beach. It's not that safe at night. But you and I know that in the future that is going to improve, and that won't always be the case. And we see a huge appreciation. That property could be worth $1 million, and we're going to keep that. But that's going to be a long-term hold. So I'm super excited about that. Are you?
Yes, sir, man. That's a big one. The oceanfront. Like, I mean, man, it was awesome too. We got to have a couple team members go out and see the property with you in person, which is just, you know, again, big ups to them, and you know, being able to make that trip. Teamwork, you know, is how you make the dream work. So I mean, like, this is another big big play and a big domino as we kind of continue working into 2022 here.
Yeah, definitely. In Hawaii, we're not doing a bunch of deals, but we're doing very specific deals, right? Like the big house that we did in Maui that we're keeping as a burr, the Walkway now Oceanfront, we did that entry level short flip that we're working on right now in Hilo. So we have deals on 3 of the 4 major islands of Hawaii. So super happy about that. We're only doing about a deal a quarter there though. And we're really scaling up operations in LA. I think we're working on like 17 deals now in Southern California across Antelope Valley, South LA, also Joshua Tree and
Morongo Valley,
Morongo Valley out there. So definitely send us your deals, guys, if they are in that area and you want to get paid and work with us in a deal. The other thing, I'm heading to Sedona, never been there, for the Brandon Turner. Brandon Turner from Bigger Pockets, one of my mentors. He's going to be doing a follow-up mastermind. A lot of the people that went to the original one are be there, but then there are also some new people because not everybody can make it because of scheduling or not everybody wants to come back. So excited about that. I'll be heading there on Sunday and I'll be there for a week. I'll have limited reception, limited access to computers. So the team's going to have to rock out while I'm gone.
Well, man, let's get to it. I know this is a webinar that usually, like we said, we'd like to bring in the guests and just do kind of an open house, open forum, open chat. So if Alex, if you'll go ahead and make me host, we'll go ahead and start welcoming some of the guys here, some of the deal makers onto screen, and we'll keep it an open format, guys. Yeah, guys. So we got about 45 minutes or about 50 minutes to just chat openly. If you guys have questions, something you haven't had answered in the last session. You made some offers. You want to be vocal about what you're doing. If you're taking action, this is time for you to shine, man. Let's go. Oh, got my man Ulysses in the building. What's up, Irish? What's up, my man Rory? We got some new people.
Hey guys.
Mr. David. What up?
What's up, everybody?
People don't want to talk, but I'm gonna start picking on people.
And like you said, man, I mean, it can be if you made an offer this week, if you got stuck on something, like, let us know, guys. You got a lot of deal makers here in the room. You got a lot of opportunities to get some help from some people. If there's anything that, you've been struggling with, getting deal flow, taking down the deal, now is your chance to kind of get the other deal makers here in the room to give you some advice and some feedback.
What's up, Edward?
What up, guys? How is everyone?
What's up, Rigo?
I got a quick question about hard money.
All right, Dominic, shoot.
Let's say, okay, say you got to do like a $40,000 EMT. Dude, really? A $40,000 EMT. And then you have to do 20% down to the hard money lender for the down payment. Does the hard money lender, when he ends up giving you the funds, does that end up going back? And will you get the EMD back through the hard money lender?
Yeah. So that's gonna be part of your, a cash to closing, really. So it's just a higher initial deposit. So if you say you're gonna buying a $500,000 house and the hard money lender makes you put 20% down, that's 100,000, and then you put 40,000 down, then technically when you're ready to close, you would be putting 60 and some change because you probably have to pay some, some fees and whatnot. And so that would be credited to your cash to closing required based on the loan that you're getting, and the lender would fund in the rest of the purchase price through escrow, through title.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind too, even though they ask for a higher deposit, they only can actually keep if you don't perform a certain percentage. I believe it's 3. Find out, but it's 3. I think it's 3% of the purchase price, right?
Yeah, 3%.
Yeah. So you're beating up his dog. They're like, shut up. No, but seriously, so it's a higher deposit, but they can't keep all of it. And I mean, unless it's a wholesaler that's asking for a non-refundable deposit, that's different. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
What's up, Rory? You buying some houses, bro? Come on, bro.
Not yet. We thought we had a condo locked up last week in Westwood.
Okay.
And we fell because it was down to us and a full cash buyer, and the seller was insistent on turning it around in 10 days. And so we were trying to bend over backwards to do everything we could, but we couldn't get a guarantee that we could do it in 10. we're like, we think we can, or we can do it in 12. We even gave them extra closing costs and stuff, but time was of the essence for them. And so struck out on that one, but still looking, trying to get better deal flow. Like we've raised private money. We feel really good about that. But name of the game is finding that deal. And that's our biggest hurdle right now.
What about you said right now, Rory, that's important. I don't want to overlook is when you take that action and then you're in almost getting that deal, and it makes you push all these buttons, right? Like, oh, can you do the deal in 10 days? Can you do it? And you're asking all these people, and then you see how they perform, you see how they react, you see how they communicate with you. And the next time you got to get a deal done that's pretty on a fast timeline, you're a little bit more prepared, right?
100%.
You know who to call. Would you agree on that?
100%.
Okay. I think that's like, you can tell the difference between like the questions that you're asking that are like action taking questions, or just like, hey, like, what would I do if this happened? It's like, now you're actually in that situation. You're like letting them know, like, hey man, we're pretty close to signing a contract. Like, could you get this done? We've used certain lenders before because of that as well. And we've not used certain lenders because they haven't been able to get it done that quick. So I like that, Alex. Like you said, now you're in a position where if it happens again, like you already kind of have your ducks in a row and are like, all right, I'm going to this guy. He can close in 10 to 15 days. Let's see if he can do a 10-day, magic on this one.
Exactly. And they, we really wanted to roll the dice, but we waived all contingencies, but they wanted to waive notice to perform as well. And if we didn't close on that 10th day, they were keeping our 15 grand, whatever we were putting down for EMD.
Yeah. There's some risks there, but I'm glad that you ever get that experience, because if things do align, you can buy a property in about 10 days because all the third parties clear. Your funds should be able to, you could wire your funds from your bank account for closing, and then all it is about that hard money lender or that private money lender getting the money in, and you checking all the boxes. And if you've done enough deals with certain lenders, I mean, they're willing to get that done for you and tell you, hey, yeah, we can get this done. We know you. We just got to vet a couple more things. But if you're like a brand new investor or brand new to that lender, that's a long shot to close in 10 days. But
that was exactly it. And we were just like, you know what? When we got 3, 4, 5 under our belt, this is not going to be an issue.
Good stuff, Rory.
Yep.
Good to see that, brother. Okay,
Does anyone have any leads that are sellers, motivation to sell, where they feel like there is a margin for profit, but their holding cost is, basically their holding cost and points on the hard money is killing the deal? Because I had a situation like that on a Tahunga property, and I've all but gotten an agreement from the seller. Basically, he verbally agreed to the deal, and we're doing an ovation. So I've learned how to pitch that. I've learned how to work with it. I have a transaction coordinator that now knows it and has done hundreds of them. And she's on my team too, basically now. Like if I need anything, she'll help me out. So if anyone's running numbers and your biggest holdup is the holding costs that you're working with, hard money points, lenders, anything like that, let me take a look at it. Let me offer suggestions and possible strategies that you never know what a seller will agree to in their situation, because my seller said, I don't need the money now, give it to me in 3 months. So now we're just doing an ovation, and I'm paying, instead of $3,000 to $4,000 a month on hard money plus 2 points, I'm paying $1,500 and no money down payment.
Yeah, I think that great point, Edward. And I'd like to also add to that, because they're essentially what you're talking about. If you agree with me, is that creative finance and structuring deals in different ways. It is a little bit more advanced, but I went to this workshop last week that I have mentioned on the update, and the guy had kind of give us a little bit of a decision tree. And I'm looking at my notes right now, because if it's, say for example, they have no loan, then you really want to go for a cash. What he recommends is cash transaction first. If that doesn't work, then seller financing if they haven't paid off. And then if that doesn't work, then some type of lease option as well, because then you're still be able to kind of control the property, but not necessarily own the property. And if they do have a loan, they still go for cash, number one. Number two is like lease option. And then so there's differences based on whether they have a loan or not, as well, to what you're saying. It's not necessarily all about, because if they haven't paid off, there's some other strategies. Some of my best deals have been creative finance. The deal that I mean, what he's talking about right there, you guys might not have heard the story, but I'll say it real quickly. I bought a house in Van Nuys in the San Fernando Valley that I would not have bought it because it was a creative finance deal. She had a 3% 30-year fixed loan modification loan, and the loan was not in her name, it was in her deceased husband's name. And so when I went to ask her about, the price, she said, okay, letting me take over her payments and buy subject to the underlying property, because at the numbers I needed to be at for the hard money, it didn't work. So that was my backup plan, but I had never done it. And as soon as she said yes, I was like, oh, she said yes, let me go figure it out. I didn't even know how. I had to go reach out a couple of title reps. So talk to Edward. It looks like he's taking some action there. If you guys have some leads like that, but even more important, I want to say is that get familiar with these creative strategies. That way, when you see a scenario that fits that potential strategy, you can make that offer and try to solve that problem with that type of strategy, rather than just everything. Like they say, if you're like if only you have a hammer, then everything's gonna look like a nail to you. So you do have to expand your toolbox, but just not too early on in your journey, because everything can get a little confusing too.
And also, realistically, I can honestly say, in regards to like doing an actual flip and doing this is the first time I'm doing it creatively. But if you know the right questions to ask, and if you surround yourself with the right people around you who know the answers, even though you don't, as long as the numbers make sense to you and the seller is motivated, which is obviously the hardest thing to find nowadays, is a motivated seller. That's all we're looking for. The deal will come with a motivated seller that's willing to work with you and building a rapport with the person. So if you feel like you've exhausted the option of like they're not coming down to the price I need them to, I will either role play with you. I will give you all the options. I'll give you all the forms that make it look like if you know what you're talking about. If you want me to call, I'll do it too. I personally don't care, because I think it's don't let a deal die because you didn't explore options, especially starting out. It's what do you have to lose? You already know the deal's not going to happen at the price you want it. Shoot your last shot. That's how I look at it. And you never know what'll happen, because I was hesitant. With this guy, like 3-4 days, I was like, he won't take it. Doesn't make sense. I don't know how to pitch it. I don't even know how to structure it. I offered it. He said yes. I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out.
Yep, good point. And I think also these creative strategies can be helpful in the kind of higher price markets. So it's just like, oh man, we're dealing with higher numbers. I mean, also the other low price markets, but we also did a creative finance deal or seller finance deal in Hawaii, and it worked out well for both sides. So good stuff on improving it or adding more strategies to your toolbox.
I like how you mentioned it too, Alex. It's like the decision tree, right? So it's like you don't want to just like start with that pitch, but I think that's a good pitch to fall back on, because a lot of times for me when I'm talking to the sellers or even to an agent, I'm like, okay, so if the agent is representing the seller and it's an MLS deal and it's had no traction, I'm like, hey, you know what? You probably haven't sold this house because the price is unrealistic. And if the price is unrealistic, maybe it's realistic, but at a seller finance option where it's like, hey man, I can give you that number, but I'm not giving it to you for 6 months, 7 months. Like I need to make my money first, and then I can give you that number. And if they're fine with it, like Edward's saying, like then you might have a creative deal just structured a little bit differently. So good stuff, man.
Yeah, and let me give you one example. They gave in the workshop. This guy bought what appeared to be a bad deal with no equity, but then because the payment was pretty low for the homeowner, he just put it on Airbnb and he made a killing on it for like 2-3 years, and then he sold it for a huge profit. So like these deals, can turn into like home run deals if you have the right terms, right ways of structuring stuff. But I was amazed because the way he was drawing out the deal just looked like a bad deal, loser deal. And then the way he explained it, like, oh yeah, well then we just kept it, and then we just made the payments, and then we began to put it on Airbnb, and it was a cash cow. And then once the market went up enough, we sold it for a huge $100,000 profit deal, like in a couple of years. It was crazy. So you can turn shit into sugar, as one of the books I read. All right, guys. Anything else that you guys want to talk about, or any other questions you have, or who's making some offers, who's got some challenges? I could talk to you guys about some of my problems, if you'd like. I know Tiago has some problems. Like Tiago gotta have some problems. The guy's buying apartment buildings. What's going on, bro?
That's my problem. I cannot find them.
The deal. You can't find enough deals.
Yeah. That's true.
Money's not our problem, right, guys. Right? Money's not the problem right now, right? It's finding the right deal, right?
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, good to see you, brother.
So can you tell how you found yours, the 18 unit?
Yeah, so great question. We are in contract with the 18 unit because I would call him definitely a friend, but also just a fellow investor in the Ryan Pineda coaching program, Max. He's been I mean, he's been going hard, you know, like you, like just in multifamily, that's his lane, that's what he's going after. And I seen him going into that lane, and we've been there, we've been networking, we've been talking. He's been asking me like, hey, what are you looking for? Because I've been pretty expressive about us wanting to get into some multifamily in specific markets. And apparently he locked up 3 deals kind of like back to back to back. And so he was only really able to kind of raise capital for 2 of the 3 from what he could tell from his network and what he had going on. And because I had been vocal and we're boys, he was just like, hey man, I'll kind of alley-oop this to you. I mean, he didn't do it for free or nothing. He's making, let's say, you know, a 6-figure wholesale fee at least, you know, a healthy one. But he helped me really vet the deal. He knew it was kind of in my buy box, a little bit more than what we wanted to spend, but it definitely was in the market, the location, the value add potential. And so, yeah, he just basically handed to me, but I did have to negotiate a little bit, and he did have like a couple other potential buyers on it. But the relationship plus my action, I mean, I flew over there quickly to go look at the property. I had to send $125,000 hard deposit once we vetted it. I mean, that's the type of game you're playing, guys, in the multifamily. Like, we're not some, oh, hey, 10,000, 20,000, 120, oh no, 135,000 hard deposit. Like, we're buying that building. Let's go, baby.
For sure, for sure. What will be the strategy? Keep it as rental, or?
The cash flow isn't that exciting unless we do Airbnb on it, but we're not looking to do that. So we're gonna our plan A is to do partial value add and flip it and make minimum of 500,000 profit, but I think we can get close to 700,000-800,000 profit within 8 to 12 months.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, we're buying it for 200,000 a door. We're gonna put about 350,000 into the property, and then we're gonna exit at about 260 to 270 a door. That's what stuff is trading at now. And then with out of the 18 units, we're gonna rehab like 4 to 6 of them, so that there'll still be a value play or some type of value add play for the other end investor. That's kind of our initial. That's just kind of our plan A, because it just doesn't have enough potential cash flow for parking that much. Because we're gonna have to, you know, we're gonna have to park $1 million. Like, we're putting 25-30% down on acquisition of 3.5 million. I mean, that's $1 million that we're putting to sleep. And we just don't see that long-term ROI on that. You know, it just doesn't seem to us to be that type of place. So we're looking at more like an apartment flip.
And you think you can do it in 1 year and a half, the repositioning?
About a year, yeah. Well, keep in mind, like, one of my vetted close friends is doing that already. And I mean, he wanted the deal himself, or he wanted to partner with the deal, but I had to say like, nah, man, I got this, because once I vetted the numbers and, you know, walked the property, did all that stuff, like the neighbor across the street just sold for like $290 a door. There's like new developments going around like the whole area. It's 10 minutes away from Old Town Scottsdale, which is one of the nicest places of all of like that part of Phoenix. So it's I can't even say it's in the path of progress. It's already, there's progress is already there. You know, so a lot of dumb money going into like, you know, Arizona. So we're gonna feed into that, and we're going for a payday over like just trying to do a value add play to keep as cash flow and refinance through the burr. I know it's not the traditional model, but I mean, I don't care what people are doing. I care about profitable deals. You know, everybody has their own business strategy and opinion about stuff. Oh, you should keep it. Okay, well, that's what a lot of people said about my flipping. But now, you know, we're flipping a lot of houses and making millions of dollars, and now we can keep a lot more houses. Can we not? So again, I don't give a fuck what people's opinions are, because we're taking action. And a lot of times people have much different business model, much different mindset than us, and much different teams. So like, you know, I don't mean to be chippy about it, but it's just like a lot of people, you know, want to give you advice about stuff, but it's like, okay, well, I'm taking advice from people that are actually doing this kind of deal. If you're not doing this kind of deal, then it's like, why should I take exactly, you know, advice from somebody that's not in that market doing that exact type of deal, that has a tradesman that's doing deals of that same sort? So that's kind of the take we're taking on it.
Good luck.
Alex, can you tell me about your financing on that? Since you guys are flipping it, I'm assuming you're not getting a Fannie Freddie. Yeah, what are you guys doing financing route?
That's $1 million question. I mean, we're essentially getting a bridge loan, which is just like a commercial hard money loan, 25-30% down, interest rate between high 5s to like low 7s. And then with a construction draws, so then we get some of the construction, kind of like a hard money loan. It's very, very similar, but they ask for a lot more. You know, they ask for, you know, your liquidity, your net worth, like all the people that are going to be on the loan, your experience. It's not that easy to qualify for a hard money loan like it is in the single family space. So we're going through all that paperwork right now. But even though it's very arduous and I mean, really drains my energy, I know that once we do this once, we'll be able to do it again and again and again, and then we'll be able to get bigger loans. So I think that's a hard part now, but it's gonna pay off. But that's the general financing, and then we're gonna, as a team, the couple partners that we're doing the deal together are gonna put up, I think, about $500,000 of that million, and then we're gonna raise the rest of the $500,000 that we'll probably need to buy the deal. We're gonna be closing at the end of March, and then I'm also gonna be moving into the property because there's 4 vacancies. I'm moving in for the first 2-3 weeks, so then now I can help spearhead the project management, like everything going, because that's one of the strengths that I have is that I don't have kids, I don't have a girlfriend, I don't have no dog. I can go fly wherever I want, and I can just go in there and live there, nimble, and just help execute everything, make sure it gets lifted, and then fly to Maui, baby. Let's go.
I wanted to ask, and I hope you don't mind now, Tiago, you said you're purchasing multi-units. What area are you looking in? Is there anything we can do to help you out? I'm a realtor, so if there's anything I can do I'm in the LA area.
No, Middle West. No, not
All
that area.
Midwest.
Middle West. Yeah.
Tell them, Tiago, what's your purchase box?
Yeah, Middle West, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta. Yeah, we are looking like 100 units complex right now. So to do the repositioning.
Good to know.
Well, shoot me, whatever you have there.
Will do.
Bro, the cap rates in LA, you won't like them, brother. You won't like them. Nothing to write home about.
Not wrong.
All right, I'm gonna start calling out people. What's up, Jaspinder? How are you, buddy? How many houses are you flipping right now, bro? Come on, you know I gotta call on you.
How you doing, Alex? Now
What's
I'm
up?
actually heading back home from our desert flip that we're doing. Meet up with an agent. So yeah, we're on it a month out. So meet up with an agent. We were way above our ARV we were originally thinking. So it'll be I think it'll be a good flip.
Oh, where's it at? In the desert?
Desert Hot Spring, yeah.
Okay. What's the numbers look like?
We picked it was supposed to be 2-1 on the paper. It's 2-1. It's actually 3-1. So we picked it up at 170, I think, 170. And yeah, we'll be able to exit out at 1. They're saying maybe low 3 to mid 3. But I'm hearing from the agent there, expert. So and we're going to be putting in about, I'll say it's going to be close to 50. We end up getting one of the big budget was the fence, backyard fence, man. It was all blown up. So we were trying to be a little bit creative, and it still ended up costing me about $8,500. But with the material and labor, all wood fence all around. So it was still a pretty good deal, I think.
Okay, you know what, these remote areas, it's difficult to find rehab help. So how did you find your GC and the people that rehab the property? Please share.
I actually had a person, I've known him for several years, 5-6 years. He's been working for me some other projects. He lives in Riverside, so it's still a little commute for them, about 45 minutes, 1 hour. So yeah, man, it's tough. That's why I'm trying to come a little bit more close to Riverside and the inland area. But yeah, it's tough, man, in desert. And I think he has picked up 29 pounds.
Yes, we put 29 pounds.
Last week, I think. Yeah, man, that same day I picked up 29 pounds. We're thinking as a flipper or Airbnb. We're thinking long term, a little bit with that, but we might be able to exit out of that one. We're having some title issues and stuff, but yeah, man, that's a good flip. I saw that one, the 29 pounds from Allen, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, man, that's a good one, man.
he showed us some love. He showed us some love, you know, but we've been showing him some love for a long time too. So, you know, it's reciprocal.
Man, that guy, yeah.
Cool, man. Well, best of luck.
Yeah,
best of luck on that one.
Man.
I'm glad that you're buying stuff, you know, in the ones though, because that's harder and harder in SoCal, guys, right? Buying stuff with the one in front of it.
Dude, that's the hard part right now.
Yeah. That's not a shack or like, you know, cabin, like like literally just falling apart. Like it's hard to find any houses under 200,000 anywhere in SoCal.
Yeah, But
All
man,
right.
the way the prices are in the desert, even man, the way things are phasing, like our values are going up, it's just crazy. It's scary, crazy. Even this
Yeah.
year right now. So, but cool, man. Thank you.
You got it, man. You got it. Just calling everybody. Who else wants to ask a question or has a challenge or a win from last week they want to share? Love to hear from you guys. All right. Well,
And guys, they don't have to be wins, again, like it can be something that you guys are struggling with, something that you guys need some help with. Has anybody been using the deal calculator that we have for free on the Facebook group? Anybody have any questions? Anybody get stuck on that? Any, issues that you're having when you're using it?
hey, Will, were you able to promote the other 9 attendees into panelists so they can talk, or are we having trouble with that?
No, sometimes people are driving and they can't join in. They've all been promoted in, but
Oh, gotcha.
sometimes they can't, they don't accept.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, what's up, guys?
Yeah, anybody been using the calculator, having any issues or having any success? Looking up any deals?
I didn't even know you guys had a Facebook page with a calculator. What's the Facebook group?
So if you go,
share that in the chat right now.
yeah, we can give you a link, but in the file section of it, once you get approved for the group, you'll see a bunch of resources and everybody just in there talking about this stuff, investor related. So, and then we post a lot of the stuff we're doing, like meetups and things like that. But we posted the recent giveaway to Hawaii that we had there as well. So just kind of a place to continue the conversation, because it's hard to do that on Instagram. It's hard to do that with Zoom, right? So Facebook is the most logical place for us to just host just the conversation of deal making.
Irish, I want to hear an update from you. What's up with you? I know you've been making some big moves and picked up a flip recently and are, doing some rehab on that. This is your first project, correct?
Who are we asking?
Irish, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Hey guys. Yeah, I wanted to jump in actually. I'm helping to project manage. So I haven't given you guys an update in more than a few months now. But I actually quit my W-2 back in October and started working for a couple of flippers in the Bay Area. So I've been helping to project manage a lot of their flips, and one of the flips that I'm working on right now is in Paso. It's our last day here, so we're like finishing the last like 10% or 1%, just like cleaning out trash and everything. But in terms of like my own personal investing, to be honest, it has taken a setback just because there's been kind of a learning curve for me, just trying to get onboarding with the whole flipping world and like talking to contractors, managing the project and all of that. But at the same time, I've learned so much to the point that I personally, I'm trying to get into my own personal flips to increase my capital. So about 2-3 weeks ago, me and a couple of partners put in an offer for a probate deal in Fresno. So I'm looking in the Fresno area. We lost out by like 15K, which is pretty interesting because like in hindsight, the deal would have still worked had we put in like a higher offer. And then we had a really good like rapport with that realtor too. So she wanted us to win, but it's just, at the end of the day, the seller, like the price was higher for the other offer. So they went with that. But I think, in terms of what I'm looking for flips in Fresno. So if you guys know anyone or know of any deals, feel free to reach out. But yeah, that's just kind of what I've been doing. No flips on my own yet though. Still working on it.
Hey, Irish, you said this project's up in Paso?
Yeah, this specific project that I'm helping out right now, it's in Paso Robles.
What part of Paso are you guys in?
This is right by downtown, so it's like 5 minutes away.
Okay. Yeah, and I spent some time up there, and I didn't really analyze the market. I was doing some wine stuff up there, but I've always had that kind of in the back of my head, wondering how Paso is performing.
Paso, I will say, is doing so far so good in terms of just like the flip market. And the reason I say that is we literally spoke to an investor right across the street who bought the house to do, it's a buy and hold, but he's an investor as well. And he owns multiple properties in Paso Robles, primarily for buy and holds, but market seems to be popular. This one specifically is going to be a vacation rental. So there's that, and then there's a Toscadero area
Yep.
as well that's a lot more loose in terms of like the short-term rental ordinance, and I know there's a lot of potential in that city.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for the update. I think Raul has a question, but before we go to your question, Raul, I just want to comment how proud we are of you, Irish, taking action, jumping in there, quitting your W-2, but with a plan, right? It's not,
With a
oh,
plan,
just quit my
yep.
W-2. Like, no, like I'm working for these investors. I'm in the game with them. You're probably not making a ton of money, I would assume, but the experience that you're getting right now is where the real money's at. So good for you, girl.
My big question before we
Thank
jump into
you.
Raul's question, Irish, is what are the top 3 things you've learned? So you're working for a couple of investors, you're project managing a couple houses. What are the top 3 things you've learned that are going to help you when you do your first flip on your own?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is definitely the type of connections that I've built just by being around the people who are doing this. And not only that, but the like how I'm fostering that connection, like how I'm cultivating that connection, because there is a lot of relationships to be made in real estate, but at the end of the day, if there's no sort of connection there, or there's just, not really an exchange, like reciprocity, then it's not going to go much further than that. So I think for me, it's really just trying to develop on that and work through that. I think the second one is, being a female, and I'm small in real life. I'm like 5'1", and they see me, they're just like, okay, this girl's so happy, she's just happy-go-lucky. But at the end of the day, I kind of have to learn how to be assertive, but at the same time, respectful around these contractors to make sure that they do what I tell them to do. Things get done the way we want them to get done. So I think it's just learning to find that voice and being more assertive with that voice. And I think the third part is just have fun with it, because I feel like it's not all black and white. There's definitely a lot of gray area, as it is with flipping. We have like set plans, we have a set like goal, timelines, budget, and all of that. But at the end of the day, there's things that are going to happen, and it's out of our control. But I think, for me, the way I live with that is I did my best, and I know that I did what I could at that point in time with the information that I had and the resources that I had, that there's just certain things I can't control, and I have to be okay with that. So yeah, those are the top 3.
What an awesome update. Wow.
If you
Good
guys
question,
weren't taking
Will.
notes on that, like that was, 101, how to become a project manager and crush it. That was awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and I think the point she made about like being a female and like, not the tallest person, but that could also be being by a young person. Like you're 20 years old, people are like, well, who are you, dude? Like you're only 20 years old, or, and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm 27, but yes,
okay,
I get mistaken for being very young. So
yeah, but I'm saying, then you have to carry yourself a certain way, because
Exactly.
otherwise the people are not going to take you serious. So that can be for younger, female, all that combined, and you're, happy to be both. So good for you, girl.
Exactly.
Raul,
you.
what's your question, buddy? Or maybe you want to type it in. If you want to type it into the chat, if you can.
No, I got it. Hey, thanks for taking my question really quick. I was thinking, let's just say if you're a realtor, what do you think about being in a position to maybe pay a little bit more than the average investor for a deal, let's say, because there's a buyer's commission involved that you would get, and then for selling the property, you would save that as well. Let's just say everybody's using the 30% rule for their flips. What do you think about being in a position to be a little bit more flexible with that number due to those factors?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I know Will probably has something to answer on that, but let me answer that first. Number one, if you're an agent and you represent yourself as an investor to go buy property on the MLS, don't shoot yourself in the foot going in thinking that because you're gonna pay a little bit more because you're gonna get a commission, that's gonna help you get the deal. In all actuality, that listing agent more than likely wants to double end it so he can make more money. And so he's not going to consider your offer as much as if you let him write the offer. Generally speaking, I know that people on this call will probably agree with me as well, but your default should be more like, hey, I'm an investor. I want to put this investor hat on. And later on, I'm an agent. You're an agent when you're representing clients, right? You're an agent when you're representing other clients to buy or sell real estate. But when you represent yourself and it's an MLS deal, I think you're way better off going direct to the agent. But on the resale side of things, when you are calculating stuff, then yes, you can calculate that because you're not going to be paying yourself a full 2.5% commission, or I don't know how you work those numbers out, but that might help you pay a little bit more on the front end because you don't need to make as much as a listing agent because you're making profit as an investor on that deal. That's my take on that. That all that makes sense, guys? Tell me if I didn't explain that right.
And I'll follow up on that, Alex. I mean, like Alex said, man, most of the deals that we took down off the MLS, think about it. Like, you know, I think Edward was mentioning, or Irish was mentioning a probate deal, right? So if you're that agent and you had to deal with a probate, you had to deal with squatters, you had to deal with whatever the situation was, even the sellers, sometimes these sellers are inconsistent and aren't ready to list their house, and then they are, and then they aren't, and then they don't know what price. But when you finally get that listing, I agree with Alex 100%. That agent doesn't care whether you put in $1,000 or $2,000 higher price, because that means that they're going to make 5 to 7 to 10 to 15,000 less on the deal because they're not getting that double end on their transaction. So they're going to be more interested in letting somebody else know, like, hey man, my best offer is from, Raul, it's 550. If you come in at 553 and I represent you, I think we can take it down. And then, they're just going to, get your offer right off the table and make the back end and their double commission.
And I want to, before you jump in, Raul, I want to add one more thing to that. And look, it should be that way though, like, right? You have the highest offer, an agent, all that. It kind of should be that way. Fiduciary responsibility, ethics, all that good stuff. But then that's not the way the game is played. It's like the NBA, right? Where people get away with holding and, doing little kind of stuff that it's against the rules, but the game is kind of played that way. So I talked to a lot of people that are newer and they're agents and they want to represent themselves. I'm like, no, don't do that, bro. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot and you're not going to get a good shot because then the agent has their guard up. Rather, the conversation sounds easy like this. Oh, hey, Raul, this is Alex. I'm an agent, but I'm a buyer on this phone call. I'm calling about this property on XYZ Street. Like, is it a bad time? Oh, no. So, I'm looking to buy my next deal right now. I buy about 14 properties a year or whatever, that 4 properties a year. So I was wondering, and then you ask a series of questions, and then you say, oh, hey, are you opposed to representing me on this deal? I know I'm an agent, but I don't really care about writing my offer unless you tell me that, it's okay for me to write my offer. I'd rather you write it. I just want to buy the deal. That's kind of the conversation we're having, but you are disclosing you're an agent because you have to, but you're telling that you don't really care about commissions, that you're just looking to buy deals. Yeah.
I hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. I see some deal makers in the building. I don't think we've talked to Henry before. What's up, Henry? Where are you from, bro? Have we talked to you?
I'm from the Nashville area.
What are you doing out there?
Buying, wholesaling, the name of the game.
You aren't wholesaling 100-unit apartment buildings, are you?
Not yet, but soon.
What type of deals are you typically wholesaling? Or like, is it single family, doing any multi, or is it just varies?
Single family right now, but I mean, if I come across a multi-family deal, then I definitely do it.
Okay, gotcha. I can't think of anybody that I know that's buying in Nashville, but if I do, we'll definitely send them your way. But are you in the Facebook group?
I'm not.
So yeah, just check the link out, add yourself there, do an intro. Hey guys, I'm wholesaling in Nashville. You guys know any buyers, whatnot. We're always trying to have a variety of wholesalers, investors inside of that group so that everybody can connect.
Awesome.
I got a quick question for you, man. What's your biggest challenge right now in your business? I know you're doing some deals, some single family. Like, what's the biggest challenge you have right now?
Biggest challenge I have right now is, the everybody wants to get top dollar for their, because they know that the market is hot here in Nashville. So everybody's trying to get top dollar for their property, even though the property is not, in the greatest condition. So that's the biggest challenge right now.
How are you working through that? Are you going on in-person appointments? Are you locking them up over the phone? Like, what's your kind of go-to strategy to get people past that?
I prefer to go in person. I got 2 appointments lined up on Saturday, actually. So I prefer to go in person to be able to see the property, get a firsthand look at the property, as well as build rapport with the seller, because I think that is a big plus. Here, building that rapport. If people can trust you, then they definitely want to do business with you.
Look, a lot of people just want to throw out a low ball offer, right? Like a low price, but man, if you don't go see the property and you throw out a low ball offer, now you're just looking insulting. But if you go see it and explain to them and build that rapport, kind of walk them through your number and walk them through your offer, might be able to get them to understand the number you're coming from a little bit different, right?
Exactly.
Good stuff, man. Well,
Exactly.
congrats on the 2 appointments this Saturday. Hopefully you crush those and keep crushing it here in 2022, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You got it,
Who
Henry.
else has a challenge right now they're facing in their business? Anybody else? Caesar, you got any big challenges out there?
Come on, Caesar. What's
Go,
going on,
anything
bro?
holding you back in your business? Let's hear it, guys.
You know what? I was just talking to Ed this morning on our daily role play calls that we have with a few other people. Will, I actually got your guy tapped into it. I have this situation right now with the seller who owns a few properties that wants to identify a property before she sells. So I have to hook her up with a 1031 company, right?
Yeah.
And the process behind that is just so foreign to me that I don't really know what I'm doing.
Where does she want to buy?
She wants to buy in Marietta, Temecula, Menifee area.
Yeah, so what I would do is, you guys are welcome to chime in, but I would try to find an agent that's 1031 friendly, like a broker that's 1031 friendly experience. And sometimes you could see them like on Zillow and other places because they'll put like a tag, like 1031 specialist and whatnot. Because these people know the companies that hold the money and all that stuff for the 1031 for that. So I forgot what they're called again. Not fiduciary, but
Intermediary.
yeah, there you go. And those intermediaries, like you really want the right one for them. And then that person doesn't need to identify something, and it's a real tricky game to 1031. So you gotta put those people in the right hands. So
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
Yeah, because all I know when I'm explaining to her over the phone and she agrees with me is like she has 145 days to identify the property she wants to buy and another 60 days to close on it. Say it doesn't happen, I don't know what happens next. I don't know what kind of tax implications come after that.
Well, the thing, it could be a huge penalty. And so I have somebody that recently I talked to about multifamily. I think someone else is going to chime in. So you guys are welcome to chime in after I'm done. But she's like, dude, these investor has $25 million, 1031. They're willing to buy a property like $2 million over like asking, or $2 million more at a higher price because they would have to pay a $3 million fee to the IRS. So rather than doing that, they could probably find a deal if they're going to pay a little bit more, are they not? So I think you would maybe have that same situation or a similar situation with that client of like, hey, they don't necessarily need the fattest, best deal in the world either.
And I think to add to that also, to take a lot of that fear away would be, it may take some patience on your end, but do a concurrent close where you can open at your escrow, so you have your deal locked up, but you're gonna be patient on your end and be like, look, I'm not gonna call to action, I'm not gonna screw you, I'm not gonna force you to close until we at least identify your property, because the timeline doesn't start until the sale closes. You can open escrow and wait 4 months. It doesn't matter.
Love that, Edward, dude. That is a huge tip right there. That's your golden nugget right there, Caesar.
So that's what I would do, is open escrow. And I know this morning I just gave you the 1031 info, and they'll help you with setting up the proper paperwork because you want to start that early. But in regards to open your escrow, and then when she's identifying the properties, you could even do like EMD low in the beginning. As you get closer to identifying property, you open escrow same time, and then your escrow connects with them, and the two escrows will speak to each other. The 1031 is looped in, everyone's on the same page, and their proof of funds would be the net sheet from her sale, which I can get you because it's in Cali. So I can show you proof of funds. I can, if it's a loan, the lender will work with it the same way he would regularly. And if she's not working with an agent and needs a list of properties, I could send her that too, because it's still in Cali. My MLS will have access. I can send her property as well. So you tell me how I can help you outside of that. But for sure, at least open your escrow and just explain to her like, hey, I'm working with you here. I got to cover my ass, but this ensures that you're not going to get screwed on the back end.
And remember, Caesar, there's a buyer's agent out there that's going to want that commission for getting that buyer. Like that's a commission that somebody's going to want to make. So if they can find that house on the back end and connect to 1031, like they get paid too. So I love what Edward and Alex were saying too about that 1031 specialist. If you find that agent that does that, they'll be able to help you through that process. as well.
Technically, I can help her find the property. Now, if it's like a one weekend thing, I might be able to drive out and show the property. But
It's
even
far,
if it means
bro. It's far.
exactly, so if it's like referring it out, I can refer it out and be like, hey, I'll schedule everything. I'm in contact with the buyer. I'll give him 25% to show it, and then I'll give you 25% too, so you get money on the buy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with them, like trying to lock it in, because also I've seen those sellers before. They're usually savvier. They usually have, lawyers representation. It's hard to find deals at a discount when they got that much, counsel in their corner. Let's just put it that way. And so I haven't seen very much luck in all my deal making years either with those type of deals. I'm not trying to throw bad juju there. I just want you to also, hey, they have the right information, but don't spend too much time on stuff like that. That kind of is a little bit of a long shot as well.
Yeah, no, that's a great point you mentioned, because I definitely had that tough conversation with myself this morning. I'm like, she's probably as savvy, if not even more savvy than I am, and she has great counsel in her corner. You don't just own 23 properties by, waking up one day and buying 23 houses. It doesn't happen like that, right?
Yep.
No,
Exactly.
she's definitely savvy. I like that.
But I have closed savvy sellers before. I mean, the Maui house, with all my deal making, it took every ounce of my experience to get that deal done. But I got it done, but it was because of a lot of experience. But it could have went south any day because of like the savvy lawyer, savvy seller, high prices, savvy joint venture partners. Like everybody was like, it was a heavyweight bout. The savvy tenants, multiple. So you guys, it's possible. I'm just saying, and that one had a huge upside. We got a lot of equity in that property, but it took every ounce out of me, and I just don't like spending time on some of these like real long shots unless you like he said, maybe you could lock it up and just, hey, you got the deal already. But if she wants to wait, and then you're working on this thing for a long time, and then you're not spending time on stuff that's a little bit more motivated.
Absolutely.
Cool. Good stuff, Caesar. Good seeing you, brother.
Always good seeing you guys, man. Always good seeing you guys.
Caesar,
I would have loved to have
role
seen
playing-
Caesar driving in the car and just been like, bro, is this lady actually a lead or am I crazy? He's like, I'm barking up the wrong branch right now.
No,
Man, sometimes it happens.
yeah, man. No, it was brought to me by another one of my buddies who's just getting into wholesaling, and I took a crack at it. So,
Is you guys role playing daily open to anybody, Caesar?
That's open to
Yep.
everybody on this call.
Roll
Okay.
through.
Yeah, dude, these guys do it every morning. They're beasts. There's usually like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them on there. And I sent somebody over.
How come I don't have that link? Send me that link.
I'm gonna send it to you guys. It's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. We do.
Can you guys drop it in the Facebook group real quick? One of you guys
Absolutely.
drop it in there, and then if anybody wants to stop in, make sure you stop in. It's a good call.
And I
Stop
also
in.
put my phone number and Instagram. So if anyone wants to text me or doesn't get it, the link, or it doesn't work, or if we have changes, please text me. We do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If enough people are down, I'm open to Tuesday, Thursday as well. But we do all sorts of deal stuff, calling live sellers in the morning call, giving each other feedback. The role play is a big one, deal analysis. We're just trying to build something that kickstart your morning, and we have a solid group.
Yeah, lead generation is where it's at, guys. Always lead generation, lead gen, making offers, just generating leads. Like that has always been the lifeblood of my business. You got to be on the hunt always for and sharpen your skills, because they're high stakes conversations. Like even the other day when I was at that 18 unit, I had a hot lead come in. I thought it was a Spanish speaker in SoCal. I look at this like, man, this is a hot lead. I had to write down my notes. I had to get prepared. I had the legal pad out there. I'm in the middle of the inspection, but I'm in the corner. I'm just like calling this lady, like, it's a high stakes call. So even myself as seasoned, I had to prepare for it a good, 5-10 minutes to make sure I had all the questions that I wanted to ask the lady based on the property. And, you got to be prepared for those conversations, because they can result in some very, very big paydays if you do them right. So. All right, guys. Well, we're kind of wrapping things up here. I love these open houses where we can talk. I don't know if I can pick on anybody else, but does anybody else have any final thoughts or questions?
Can I throw in one question for you guys?
Oh, there's Jeremy. There you go. Let's go.
So guys, just recently jumped in like the STR game, closed on a property in mid-January and hoping to launch in the beginning of March here. So kind of scrambling, getting all together, but I'm also kind of thinking about, what the best scaling strategy is here, because I've tapped out my cash spending power here on this. but because it's seeing like, 50% cash on cash, like how some short-term rentals do. But yeah, I'm trying to think of, what's the best way to kind of scale here, like from a cash standpoint. Like I know partnering is an option, but I do want to exhaust some, what I can do on my end first before I go that route. Toss around the idea of a HELOC since the cash on cash is so high, and maybe I could pay that back, since it's kind of short term. But would love to hear, the team's thoughts on what you guys would do here in this situation.
Well, my buddy in Maui, he's kind of I wouldn't say syndicated, but he has like 5 short-term rentals on Maui at specific condos, and he's buying them at higher purchase prices. But what he's done is he's just begun to like go joint venture on with some other investors, where he's essentially kind of managing the project, but he's getting some of the percentage of the profit and getting a management fee. That's a bit of a hybrid, right? So
Right.
I think that could be something for you to consider. Also, though, some of these other operators out there, if you want to do some of the management and collect a fee, I think that's potential. But I'd be probably myself more interested in finding great deals in great areas that will cash flow heavy, and then not putting the money in and doing all the sweat equity and having the systems in place, and then finding money partners to help you execute and take the deal down. Because those can be amazing cash on cash returns. And if you have a proven track record, it might be easier for you to persuade and to have other people to bet on you. But I don't know how many you have yet. It's
This is
like
my
I think
first one.
if you only have
so I don't
one,
know
then I
if
think it's maybe you want to have a little bit more track record than just one, because then it's not really a proven concept as much as like having 3 or 4. And like I said, maybe you could do your next one, and then you have a couple of other ones that you're managing. But it is certainly high touches. It's a lot of management, and there's systems out there that you can pay for, and or coaches and or people doing their Airbnb arbitrage and all that. Just not a model that I'm very, very I would say currently versed on. I did the arbitrage model like 5-6 years ago, but not currently. So I know there's a couple of people out there. If anybody has any more feedback on that, I think it's a matter of you proving yourself, and then I think more people willing to bet on you. And
Right.
then
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get a couple more, so I do have that track record, but yeah, like otherwise I have to kind of save up again, and that might take maybe the end of the year or a year and a half. And obviously I'm trying to grow a little bit faster if I can help it. But yeah, again, open to any ideas.
Why haven't you taken the HELOC yet? What's holding you back there?
I'm not sure if that's the right move. Actually, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm just afraid of like, am I spending too much money? Is that too expensive? My thoughts are not, because the high cash flow. Is it too risky? I don't know.
I think personally, if you could have that available to you, and you can help you like lock in a great deal, then and that money's cheap. It's cheaper than hard money, or just less expensive. And your other property's already done and dialed in. I don't think it's over leveraging if you find the right deal, and it's it's not taking too much of your bandwidth away from, and the other one is already dialed in and fully operational and a pretty good system.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think just having one Airbnb is like the reason we started buying more in Joshua Tree is because we're like, dude, we cash for like $3,000 per property, something maybe even more. I buy 3-4 of those, like I'm cashing, cash flowing 100,000 a year. A couple of VAs are helping me, take care of that, and then we have the people in the streets that are helping us, or the GCs and all that helping us rehab, because we're flipping and we're keeping stuff for rentals. It's kind of a system together. It's ecosystem that helps each other out. So I don't know what yours are like, but you definitely need to have that where it's kind of a little bit more concentrated, and then it's easier for you to scale that way. I mean, at least what we're starting to see.
Yeah.
Guys, I appreciate everybody stopping by today, man. This is our favorite webinar. Again, this isn't us just kind of talking. It's you guys bringing your problems, your guys's wins, what you guys need help with. So I love doing this webinar. It's our favorite week. What I do want to recommend is, guys, we're at 695 followers on the Facebook group. And if you guys all got some value out of it today, I know it was Dominic's first time getting access to the group and the calculator, but if you guys have gotten some love out of this and gotten some good, information from this, if you don't mind just sharing it with one other person, we'd love to get up to 700 people here after today. So we appreciate your guys' time, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, guys, see you on the flip side. Keep rocking out. Let me know if you need anything. Let's get it.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you guys.
I like that area. This house, I kid you not, we had a barbecue on it, and on my way out, I was kind of sad that we weren't able to keep this one because I wanted to keep it as a rental because it's just like the mountains in the back. Like it's just a beautiful area. I liked it.